Oh,
there we go. I think we are now live. Here we are. Welcome to the Car Sim and Race Driver Show with me, Hugh Hattrick, and my very special guest, Andrew Marr.
Hello there.
The BBC Motorsport Department. But here we are. And it's our end of season Formula One review. Andrew assured me he's done plenty of research, so I can rely on him to give me all the details I need.
Why do you do this to me? You're a terrible man. You're a credit to Scotland.
You'll be wanting us to go independent next, but to get rid of us.
Because I'll have to pay to come over the border, and I like to go into Scotland, so you watch it.
Don't worry, I don't want that either. But, well, to all our listeners and viewers across the globe, you're listening to the Car Sim and Race Driver Show. Well, we've had an amazing year, 2019, 21 races, and really we've had an epic battle. Although Hamilton did get the title, we've had lots of really good races. What would you say has been perhaps some of your highlights of the year, Andrew?
I know there's been some of the usual problems we've had year after year of cars following and overtaking, but I think the drivers have really made a difference this year. The fantastic fight that's gone on between Vettel, Leclerc, Verstappen, Bottas and Hamilton. Yeah. Those five drivers have made a really amazing battle between them the whole season long. And like you say, yeah, Lewis won, and he won convincingly, but that he did have to fight for it. You know, it wasn't just a walk away. It might look like it. The points make it look like it, but the actual battles on track, it was hard. It was hard for him to do that, and I think he showed his quality there. But then you get all the stuff that's gone on. Verstappen showing how good he is when the conditions were right. Bottas coming from the back and ending up nearly on the podium in this last race. Stuff like that. It's been really good racing. You know, there's been some mad overtakes, and despite the FIA's best efforts at ruining racing in every way they possibly can. You know, the warning flag, the one and only warning flag. But even with them doing all that nonsense, it's still been really, really good.
Yeah.
So there.
What do you? I mean, you've got people like Leclerc and others who seem to be doing quite well. I mean, he nearly won in Bahrain, and it was just unfortunate that he didn't. But do you think he's performed well, or do you think he's maybe underperformed slightly?
I think he's basically a good racer. I don't know how good he is. You know, I mean, he's quicker than Vettel. Yeah. With a very fast car, Vettel's proved himself to be a pretty good racer. You know, he's a fast guy. You can't say he isn't. You don't get 4 world championships in any car unless you're good.
Right.
So Leclerc's outperformed him, but he's made a lot of mistakes. Do you need me to put the headphones on as well? Is that?
There was just a little bit of echo, so I just wanted to make sure. So let me try first of all.
Okay.
Yep, I can hear you now.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's a wee bit better.
Okay, wonderful.
If you've got yours, you might want to put them on just in case.
Yeah.
We'll show everyone just how professional we are.
With my mad headphones. Yours look a lot more professional than mine. Right. Let's see if this works.
So we're talking about Leclerc. I mean, obviously Leclerc had a huge coming together with Vettel in Brazil, which was really quite fun to watch. You kind of knew it was coming. We kind of talked about that 2 weeks ago in our show. But they were good, but I kind of think, I mean, Ferrari have thrown away race after race with poor strategy. Yeah. And they can't keep doing it because their car was good, their car was quicker.
It was really quick. In Brazil, he should have, I mean, Vettel. It was Vettel. Vettel did it. Vettel's fault. Yeah. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. Vettel has a habit of spitting out his dummy and tying it to his teddy bear as he chucks it out of his pram. Yeah. And he reacts in an aggressively angry fashion to everything, doesn't he? So you can imagine he's going in Brazil. He's going down that the second straight, between corners 3 and 4, and he's managed to get past. And I guess you, like me, were going, "Oh wow, what a brilliant battle! Leclerc's just got past him, and Vettel's fighting back. Fantastic!" And for no apparent reason, he just went. And well, we know why. He wanted to push him across to make sure he got past, but he was too close, and they were going too fast. And Leclerc's taking a little bit of the blame for not giving him enough room, but he gave him plenty of room. There's loads of room there.
I think they did come so close, and I think it was one of those incidents that will just be remembered as one of the highlights of the year, because he's done it before with Vettel and Webber, of course, in a very similar incident. But I just wonder, because I think as well there was issues with the Ferrari engine, and they're still under investigation as to whether that might actually be legal or not. I think they'll probably get away with it. I think ultimately.
Really? Why is that? Ferrari get away with things from the Ferrari. What was the FIA used to stand for? Ferrari
Information Office or something.
Information Incorporated or something.
So I think, but because they've been a bit slower. I mean, they weren't really anywhere in Abu Dhabi, to be fair. It was really the Red Bulls and the Mercedes that was very strong. So we'll see how it all goes. But no, I think, and the cars are definitely a little bit noisier, because when you hear the build up of the race, and they were driving past, the pits, it definitely felt like they were a bit more rotty, maybe the revs are a little bit higher.
They've tuned the exhausts, I think. The exhausts. They've tuned the exhausts. So, because there were so many complaints about going, why F1 cars suddenly going?
It just doesn't sound very good.
You and I have both heard the V10s and the V8s, and they didn't sound like that. You could not hear yourself think within half a mile of those engines.
The sound went through you.
It completely encompassed you, and it shook you, and you were like, well, it was amazing.
On a slightly unrelated note to that, I watched a very good video. It was of a chap in Japan who had bought an old Mercedes S-Class, but with a V12 engine. And he had taken it to Japan because this Japanese mechanic specialized in elite exhausts. And he made this V12 Mercedes S-Class sound like a Ferrari V12 F1 car. And they were taking it through the tunnels and all these kind of things.
Wow.
Honestly, it sounded incredible. Now, the only thing was the V12 was quite slow to rev because it's an older car. But I thought what he needs to do is take over the design, or be allowed to do the exhaust for the current Formula One. And then you might get a sound coming from the cars that actually is loud and sounds incredible, because it would be quite a high revving, amazing sound, But it shows you it is possible.
It's a hell of a science, though. Exhausts are a hell of a science, really. Very.
Sorry.
No, just to get the revs, to get the scavenging out of the exhaust, and at those kind of RPM, it's got to be perfect. It really has got to be perfect. So to get the power, it's not just a case of, because you get the old boy racers putting the big drain pipe on the back of a Peugeot 106. What they've got is they've got a horrible little engine that just sounds like it's broke. But then they get half the power as well, because they haven't got the back pressure anymore. They haven't got the tuning of the exhaust gases coming out. So it's a real science.
Well, similar on the old Alfa Romeo racing cars of the early era, they actually got a church organist, someone who was a specialist in making organs, who did the pipes, and he knew all about the organ pipes, and they actually designed the exhaust on one of the early Alfa Romeo. That's what made them sound so good, because they had a real tune. And only the Italians would have have a kind of church organ for the exhaust.
I love my Alfa Romeos. They're just brilliant. I love them. I was watching a video. There's I don't know if you know the Alfa SZ.
Oh yes,
They made 1,000 of them, and it looked like a demon car, based on the Alfa 75 V6.
Aye.
Wow, I watched a video of some guy on YouTube driving one around, and that sounded okay. That was all right. That was a V6, and that sounded like it could knock your brains out. And the new Giulia, that 2.9, that sounds nice as well. That's only a V6, 2.9 V6, and that's turbocharged as well. So
twin turbo, and it revs quite high. I drove that this year, and that was amazing.
Did you?
Yeah, only for a few laps around Millbrook. But it was something. He had to have a instructor alongside me, but he was quite happy to let me get on with it.
550 odd horsepower, something like that. 500 plus horsepower.
Yeah,
that's okay.
508 or 510, something like that. But I mean, it was good, and it had a suede steering wheel. And the whole thing, and when you look at the pictures, and you kind of imagine, if you don't ever feel like me, you kind of imagine what it's going to feel like sitting in something like that. It's even better. It just felt so real, and just like you're right here, like this, see this like Italian, the way Italian drives, but close to the wheel. It was brilliant. Of course, it's got these amazing paddles.
I'd love one of those. Somebody parked one in a car park by the beach. As I was walking past, and I just stopped and stared at it, and I was staring so much, the fella came over and said, "Are you okay?" I said, "I'm just looking at your car," because it was the right colour as well. It was the Rosso Corsa, it was the racing red, which is slightly darker red than the Ferrari one. And his wife said, "I don't like it. I like BMWs," and I just thought, "You're blind. This thing is a thing of beauty. It's art, and you want a BMW 3 Series." This, and it was the full fat one. It was the 510 horsepower one. It wasn't like
it's quite a machine. But that technology is what goes into it. Cheapest thing with a Ferrari engine, basically. That's the thing. One of the cheapest cars to get with a Ferrari engine. So as obviously you can see that our enthusiasm for Formula One. We like our engines. We like the sound and the charisma. Is what we're really after. We want something that kind of keeps your attention and you hear it from miles away. Because that's what makes Formula One so good. But I have to say, although going back to Abu Dhabi, the races aren't always spectacular there, but the track looks incredible.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
I just want to go. I want to go to that race. That is one of my goals, to go to that race, because it looks. I want to go to those hotels and see the yachts and all the stuff.
Staying in that hotel with all the LEDs on the outside, amazing.
They had some camera views from people who were in the hotel, when it goes under the tunnel at the marina, and they come in towards the end of the lap, and they were watching down about 100 meters, they're quite high up, and they could see the cars go underneath them, and it looked fantastic. I mean, what they've done out there is spectacular. And of course, you've got Ferrari World, which is just across the road, and that was something else. But Yas Marina. In fact, my mate Jonathan was there about a week and a half ago. But he got an amazing deal. It was about £300 return he paid to get to Abu Dhabi and back, and that was quite a deal. So it's actually we should go sometime. And
when I'm rich and not famous, because I don't want to be famous. When I'm rich, that's on my list. I want to go to Singapore and I want to swim in that infinity pool and look down on the race. Watch the race leaning on it, looking down, going.
Aye, in the warmth, not in the drizzle. And so cold.
It's very hot there. Very hot, isn't it? Very humid. So you've got to be in the pool with a beer.
To get to cool yourself down. Yeah.
My fat belly swimming past some gorgeous Singaporean lady in a bikini. Hello. Imagine that. What's that sound? Yeah. So, I'd like to go to Singapore. I'd like to go to the Yas Marina. I want to go to Canada, and I want to go to the American Grand Prix because they're meant to be an amazing show.
Yes, and really the one in Texas to Austin. It also looks a really good track.
So I would have gone to Indianapolis as well, because that was meant to be an amazing weekend as well. Because they know what they're doing with that kind of stuff, don't they? In Indianapolis, they know how to put a show on, don't they? So I would have either there or Texas would have been great. And of course, the one that we've all got to go to is Monaco. Everyone.
Yes, Monaco is. I mean, I walked around Monaco last year, about a month after the race. We were there for a day trip. We were in France, and even just walking around the place, the atmosphere is amazing, and you just think what it must be like during the race event. Incredible. What
I want to know is, as you were walking around, did you make car noises? I'd be disappointed if you didn't.
Well, I kind of imagined, I went onto the grid, because they have the grid lines on the main street when you're it's one of the main streets, and so I got as low as I could and without being run over. It's quite busy.
I will take you. Get off the road.
Well, I managed to go on the road. I think I'm position 21 or something, and I knelt right down to the kind of height of where the racing driver would sit. And I got a video of it as the traffic going past and saying, this is the F1. But it was fantastic. You know, the kids didn't really get it, and neither did my wife. But I thought this was great. You know, this was like, so I made them walk the whole track. We went right up the hill, right the way around, through the tunnel, all the bits. They did the whole thing. And complained pretty much most of the way. But it was, you know, it was Hat-Trick's National Lampoon Vacation kind of like thing. You know, in Monaco. You know,
don't want to go, Dad, it's not her.
You know, so.
I've got a video. I had a video before I lost my last computer. It's just like, we were talking about my ex-wife. Yeah, and we went to Cape Canaveral. As I've told you, we went there and we walked in the hall with the Saturn V on its side.
Oh wow!
And I just took a video of the whole thing, you know, walking along.
It's a long bit, yeah.
It's a fair size. That's a bit of a machine. And all you can, apart from me going, wow, and then you hear this like this. It's my daughter screaming her head off because she was bored. And I'm like, it's like a religious experience being next to the Saturn V. And all you can hear is just screaming in the background of my middle child, love of my life, screaming her head off. Because she wanted something, I don't know what, I don't even know what she wanted. So I turned around and just videoed her screaming, coming at me. Great.
That happened to me at Goodwood. I went to the Festival of Speed. And my daughter, who was struggling with the noise a wee bit, we eventually got her the noise protectors to kind of help. Yeah. Although I think she was more annoyed at the time rather than actually with the sound, because she'd gone there before and she really enjoyed it. And it wasn't the Formula One cars that were annoying her; it was just other stuff. I think she was just fed up. And it was a really hot day at Goodwood, and when it gets hot down there, it's like 30 degrees plus. And there's not much shade, you know, it's quite hard to get in. So we're trying to find places that were good. Although I have to say the family area at Goodwood was really, really good. They had everything covered. Yeah, they had a big tent and it was air conditioned and it was nice and cool, and they had plenty of drinks. And actually it wasn't that expensive compared to some other places. So they didn't like us because we went in and instead of having an adult thing, they had a kind of adult lunch thing. And then they had the children's thing, and it was exactly the same. It was a sandwich and a drink and whatever. And I said, "I will just have 4 kids' meals, please." And of course, it was half the price of what the normal one. And they would have said, "Well, there's nothing to say you can't." So it was the same thing. So they didn't like us. So that was it. So we went in, and that was we ate there, and that. So it was quite good. So, and it's in the shade.
Hugh, what country are you from again?
Have a guess. Scotland. Aye.
What are they famous for again?
They're good with their money. Although we're running the biggest deficit in Europe.
Maybe. Really? Okay.
The Scottish economy has got the biggest deficit in Europe.
What it is that not enough Scots are wearing kilts anymore, and you need a tight belt to keep.
Not enough Scots are paying taxes. Is the real issue.
Well, yeah.
And that is
but
you know, it was like, you know. But no, it was quite a thing. But getting back to Formula One, how on earth did we get to that?
I don't know. We're just blithering on like idiots. See, now I was listening to the BBC 5 Live sum up of the year, and they've got Jonathan Palmer, who I don't know. I'm getting more irritated with daily because he's very opinionated and won't listen to anybody else. I don't mind someone being opinionated. I'm opinionated. You're opinionated. But we actually, you know, we take turns and we disagree and we get on fine. The other guy, whose name I can't remember, Nicholas something or other, he's like an ex-marshal for Silverstone and all this kind of stuff. So he's been around motorsports for years. He's a proper motorsport nut.
Yeah,
you know, he's not like one of these football commentators that's just been drafted in. He's really into his motorsport. And they're asking, what's your favourite race of the year? And they're all, Jonathan Palmer goes, Germany without a doubt, Germany without a doubt. Now, I said this to you on previous podcasts. Germany was a fantastic piece of entertainment, but that was not the best race of the year because it wasn't a race, it was a farce. Yeah, it was Keystone Cops.
Yeah,
there was no skill in it. It was anti-skill, you know. It was entertaining in the same way that watching a crash on Car Crash TV is entertaining.
Yeah,
and that's what this Nicholas guy was saying. And Palmer's going, no, that's rubbish, that's rubbish. But I actually found myself agreeing with the other fella because you and I love racing. And what is racing? It isn't a bunch of cars going around crashing.
Yeah, yeah.
If you want to see that, it's watching the skill of the drivers and the skill of the engineer setting a car up and all this kind of stuff. And when you can see that something amazing has been done, it's like, you know, like the overtakes that are just, you're like, whoa, how the hell did they do that? Or that's amazing that he hasn't given up and he's still going after him, which is why I said Silverstone. And this guy, he said Silverstone as well, because you had the rain mixing things up, but you saw the enormous skill and the speed of the best drivers coming out, and you could see that they were fighting and getting past or not getting past or being kept behind. All the stuff that's amazing racing was happening in that race. And what worries me is these people like the Jonathan Palmers of the world, they think they know what fans want, but they don't. They don't. They like DRS. I don't. DRS is artificial. It's an artificial way of getting past someone. You know, overtaking because people say they want overtaking. We don't want overtaking. We want fighting. We want that incredible battle.
It's a kind of gladiatorial type.
Yeah,
kind of modern gladiatorial kind of event like that, which is
what makes Lewis Hamilton as fast as he is. What makes Vettel as you know, 4 times world champion? What is it about Leclerc that's showing Vettel up? What is it about Verstappen that everyone's getting so excited about? It isn't that someone's allowed them to go past easily.
Exactly. They fight. Yeah, they fight, and it keeps going.
And it's exciting to watch.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Do you think that? I mean, I think Red Bulls have done extremely well this year, and Verstappen has done well with three victories, and so has Albon's done really well. And I think the rookies in general have done. Well, remember he was promoted from Toro Rosso up to Red Bull, and I think it takes a little while to kind of convert the pace a little bit. But I mean, he got taken out by Hamilton, to be fair, in Brazil. But
he was doing quite well there, but he wasn't matching up to his teammate.
No, but then Verstappen is quite a high. But he scored a lot of points, mind you. Albon's finished in high points, and he started in the back. You know, he's done pretty well for where he's going.
He's not rubbish,
and he is a rookie as well. So I think to be, from his car's point of view, I think he's gotten a lot out of his car. And I think obviously there was Lando Norris and George Russell, and I think they've all done.
They've done really well. And Sainz, I mean, Russell and Norris, I think have done fantastically well. I think they've done better than Albon has.
Yes,
I've not seen anything that makes Albon special. He's quick enough. And the pressure hasn't got to him as much as it got to Gasly. Though I have a question, okay. Everyone that comes along that isn't Verstappen or Ricciardo struggles in that team. They definitely have favourites, and I just wonder, it just seems a bit strange that Gasly's doing so well again now that he's not in the environment of the main Red Bull team.
I think they probably do watch, give most attention to one driver. I think.
I don't know what, but something's going on there. I don't know what. It just seems a bit strange. And I'm a Red Bull fan because I'm a fan from the days of it being Jaguar, and that's Jackie Stewart's team, and they were my team. Them and Williams were my teams. So I'm not saying that out of spite. I just think. I could, on the flipping that over, I can also say Verstappen was a rookie when he went into that team and he didn't struggle.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
He was straight on the pace, just like Hamilton was when he came in. That's why I think those two. What an epic fight! What an incredibly epic fight. Leclerc, I think he's good, but I've not seen what Verstappen and Hamilton's got.
Yeah,
I've seen speed, and he's growing, and he might end up having what they've got, but it's not there. It's not in your face, is it?
Yeah. And you mentioned Ricciardo as well. I mean, the Renault's just not been anywhere near that good this year. He's not had the chance to really perform. I think given a chance, Ricciardo would be right up there. He's really. I do like him. I really have a lot of time for him. I think he's not just enthusiastic, but he gives everything he's got behind the wheel, and he deserves to do better. He deserves to have a better car.
And if you look at Verstappen, he matched or beat Verstappen all the time.
Yeah, that's true. Out qualified him, you know, and
if he did qualify behind him, it was by a tenth of the most.
Yeah.
And
they were next to each other on the grid. Yeah.
He's as good at overtaking as anybody.
Yeah.
You know, he's a nutter going for those lunges. He's great on the brakes. It's just, I think he's just great. You know, and I wish I could see him in a really good car.
The Renault might make a step forward. You never know. Sometimes, you know, we said that about Honda. We said they were struggling, and all of a sudden they made a big step forward. I think they could make another big step next year, and they could be right up there. I think Red Bull have a chance of being in title contention next year. I think they've got a good driver combination, a very good team, and I think they're getting better and better. So it's
I agree. And if they can start the season as well as they finish this one, this has been the problem in every year recently, hasn't it?
Yeah.
The end of their season has been strong, but the beginning of their season has been a bit slow, a bit sort of. It's like they can't come out of the box on the same pace as Mercedes. I suppose this year Mercedes was so strong at the beginning of the year compared with everybody else. They've done such an incredible job of building a car year on year on year that's so competitive, consistently competitive. And even when it's been off the pace, it's not been that far off the pace, is it?
Yeah.
So I think that's why Lewis and Bottas have taken the championship, you know, first and second so easily, because you know, Bottas did a really good job at the beginning of the year. He was quick. He was fighting,
and they kind of fell by the wayside a wee bit in the mid. I think because it was that close, and I do think he is good. I do think Bottas is good, but I'm just not sure he's not an exciting driver to watch. He doesn't really kind of come out as.
So did you see that interesting movie made in Abu Dhabi?
Oh, when he took out Grosjean, didn't he? He came together with Grosjean.
Well, he got past and to stop being drafted back past, he went right on the other side of the track.
Right, yeah.
Which is one I can't. It's towards the end, but he went right over to the side of the track, and I thought that's fantastic. That's really thinking out of the box. Everybody else would try and do something. He went, I'm going over here, right over here, to make it impossible for this guy to get past me. Without doing anything dodgy. I think he's really good at that kind of stuff, and he's another one that when he makes mistakes, he tries to learn from every single one of them. You know, so he's always improving. I like that. That's really, really good.
Yeah. No, I mean it's a very. I mean the field is incredibly strong, and it shows you there's very little room for people who are not very good. I mean, I think like Stroll is struggling a bit. I don't think he'll be unless his Barrett's paying the bill. But you know, and then others have gone down. Kubica, who did a great job coming back, but I think just isn't in a physical position to compete really in that.
So sad. He was so fast. He would have been a multiple world champion. He was incredible. I remember there was when Vettel was in Toro Rosso. And Kubica was in something else. I can't remember what he was in. And they used to have some incredible battles. And Kubica would come out of nowhere in a car that should have been slower, and he would outperform the car. And then he had that silly accident, you know. And he's not the man. It's not the driver that he was, obviously, which is so sad because he was so exciting to watch. He really was. He was a special talent. He really was.
He might get a reserve driver role. And there's a couple of teams looking for a reserve driver or testing. So there's a chance that he might be doing that for a wee while.
I mean, that's great for him, but I don't know whether that's going to make any... Is it going to be worth watching him? You know, it's like...
Yeah.
Do you see where I'm coming from? There's other people that can come in. I'm hoping that Williams can do something with themselves because I'm a big fan. Williams is what brought me into watching the sport, Damon Hill and all that kind of stuff. And you know, we love Claire. I think Claire's fantastic. She's great.
I know. I mean, it's an amazing team. I mean, when I remember watching it when it was Nigel Mansell in 1992, and that was fantastic. You know, that was really it was so. I mean, it was all Mansell mania. I even got his driving gloves and all that kind of stuff. And Nigel Mansell driving gloves. I don't think I've got them now. And the moustache, but that was.
We'll have to. Maybe we should get some fake moustache and do a Mansell.
Yeah, Mansell podcast. Yeah, Mansell podcast.
We can all talk in a Brummie accent. Hello, you are right. Nigel. I like golf. That's yeah, no, he's a bull, wasn't he? He was just, I don't know. Did he drive or did he just frighten the car around the course?
Yeah, he did that. He did some incredible performances and that kind of thing.
Drive with a broken back and all stuff like this, didn't he?
He done all sorts. Yeah.
Madman.
It was incredible. But now that I know we've kind of covered our Formula One and it is titled an end of season review, but slightly digressing. I do like to digress.
Is it the end of season?
Only 100 days or so to go till you're back in Australia.
March.
But just after our last podcast, I went down to Leeds to a place called Simtrack to do my race day. My little kind of drive experience.
I saw your podcast.
Yeah, what did you think?
I didn't watch them all through, but I saw that you'd done the podcast. I'm busy, leave me alone.
Did you like them? That's what I needed to know.
I like the sound of those cars.
Yeah. Well, you should try doing it for real. It is honestly.
I'd love to.
Adam Croft at Simtrack. It's a brilliant experience. Because I was there. There were two. Obviously, Adam Croft is the manager and director owner of the business, and then he has a member of staff. Well, he's two members of staff, but one of them is James Kellett, and he was a chap who was there. Now he was Lando Norris's former teammate.
Really?
Yes, when he was racing Janetta Cups. So this is where it's all related to Formula One.
The couple, the juniors, because they're nuts.
Yeah, I think it was the Cup cars. Yeah, and of course the cutout is a Vito Janetta car. You see. And so you have to climb in. I mean, I must have looked like an ape trying to get into the thing because and the guy James is sort of standing there, and you think, who on earth is this moron? Kind of trying to get in, and why couldn't you get in? I'm too fat to get in. And the thing was, it was like, it was. And I tried to get my foot in, and of course, my foot was too near the seat, so you had to kind of put your foot right the way down towards the pedals, and then kind of hanker in, and eventually put your left foot over. It was not very graceful. You can say that, not something that a woman would do wearing a skirt. That's for sure. So I'm glad I wasn't wearing a kilt. But the thing was, it was when I got in. Then I got in, and I thought,
that's not the gear stick.
No, I was going to say.
Sorry.
Well, I thought when I get finished.
So sorry. Oh dear.
Don't worry, I said this is not for kids, so it's fine. Now YouTube are abandoning that they have a big question mark saying is it for kids or not.
No.
So I thought when I actually got in, it's quite claustrophobic because you've got the roll cage, you've got all the stuff that's in the real racing car, and then you shut the door, everything's all shut, the windows are up, everything's all done. So it is like a real racing car, and it feels just like the real thing. Obviously, you don't wear seatbelts. Maybe they had them, but we didn't put them on. And then the steering wheel is really close to you. And then you can choose what circuit you want. I did Silverstone, the Grand Prix circuit. James Kellett did a few laps, first of all, and then he comes alongside you and he gives you instruction. So it's fantastic. So there you are, and he's telling you when to brake, how to get the car in and bleed the brakes, which I didn't know what that was. But that's similar when you come off the brakes, you bleed the brakes or something. When you're in, so you brake initially and then you come off. So you got to bleed the brake pressure kind of thing.
Right, hold on. I know the name for this. So if you repeatedly stab the brakes, that's with cadence braking.
It's like when you brake really hard.
You brake hard and then you reduce. Because it's right.
A way of doing it.
In a racing car, it's the opposite. There's something I learned recently actually. In a racing car with downforce, it's the opposite of what you would normally do in a car. In a car, the slower you go, the more brake pressure you can apply because there's less chance of you locking up.
Yeah.
But in a car like a Formula One car, where you get downforce, the faster you go, the more grip you got. So you have to brake hardest when you're going really fast, and then you have to reduce the pressure so that you don't lock the wheels up.
Yeah.
Imagine if you or I, well, I mean, you've done it, but if I got into that kind of car, I'd do the opposite. I'd skid off and it's stuff like that. I think I only learned that in the last week or something like that. So you had to do that in this.
Yeah, you had to do all that, and he would tell you where to go in terms of I've done a bit of gaming, so I knew the circuit fairly well, but it was great fun to actually get refine it. And in 15 minutes, I learned so much that I reckon it really helped me. Coming back to do laps, so my setup's quite basic, so it's not quite the same. And unfortunately, my pedals move slightly. So this had a rock solid brake pedal,
right?
And I could left foot brake quite easily with it. But it was for anyone who's an enthusiast and just wants to have a go and think, what is it like to race? Then this is a fantastic way to learn, as well as if you're racing drivers too, who want to, practice for circuits, because they had the Ginetta juniors turn up. There must have been out there about 6 or 10 of them. There were quite a few of them, and they hadn't ever raced at Zandvoort, so they all had to go at racing on the simulator. And that one of the guys who was there actually won the event, got the pole position, fastest lap
after doing it on the sim.
After doing it on the sim. I mean, really, it is an amazing, because it's so real. I mean, the noise is in your ears. You can hear the whole thing. It doesn't move, but it feels like it. You're concentrating like crazy. And then you get this in it. So and with the instruction as well. Once you've done that, everything's recorded, and you have a data grid thing. A chart that tells you where you're braking compared to where James Kellett brakes.
Oh, so you got the full telemetry.
Mine just spelled. I had this thing, and I jokingly said to Jonathan, I said, mine's just going to spell shit, like this. Try to get my braking compared to James.
Slow.
It was like, back in the good, but it was. But no, it was really good fun, and it was just fantastic to have a go. And they're so good; they're very professional. You get a tour of the factory as well, which is amazing. Really worth seeing the cars in there when you get to the back. Oh, incredible! And I nearly took a photograph because I didn't see the sign that you're not allowed to take photographs or videos. And I walked right in and I see all these amazing cars, and I say, "Oh, I'll just take a video." The bosses were all watching at the top, and poor old Adam said, "No,
He's not allowed."
Like this. Because it was incredible, so it's well worth going to see all of that. But no, it was a fantastic day. And at the moment, up until the 20th of December, they're doing a special winter deal challenge for £50. You get 20 minutes practice and then 10 minutes to do a lap time around Spa. And if you watch my previous video, you'll see James Kellett doing his lap round Spa, so you can learn from the experts already before you go, and then you might have a chance. And if you win the titles, whoever gets the quickest time, and there's a different category, so some who are proper racing drivers are obviously going to outdo someone who's an everyday guy like you and me coming in. So they've got different categories. You win a morning's free session. Now it's worth 500 quid. Yeah, it's worth 500 quid. I mean, you get proper instruction, and then you do it, and then they see what they go over all your braking points and everything like that, and then you go back. So you could really learn a huge amount by doing it. So it's well worth the go. If you're anywhere near Leeds or fancy a trip up north, or if you're in Scotland, it's only a few hours south to get to Leeds. Then I would strongly recommend Simtrack, because it's a fantastic event, and it's brilliant fun. And I mean, by the end of it, I was sweating. I was really warm, because it's quite a physical experience as well. You've really got to work at it.
No, it's not like your little setup at home kind of thing. It's a full.
Oh, it's a proper car. It was actually a crash in Ginetta that they rebuilt, and they just cut bits off that they didn't need. But it's got it's the latest technology.
Wow.
And it's absolutely fantastic. It's a brilliant way of driving and or learning how to drive better. And these guys, if you're getting teammates of Lando Norris, I mean, for 50 quid.
Well, they all do this in their teams, don't they? I mean, they're all the time in the simulators, and the simulators are so powerful now that they're programming the tracks in.
Yeah.
And they're changing setups and seeing how the setups work, all because they can't do it on the track anymore.
Yeah,
in a supercomputer back in Gaydon or McLaren or anything like that. So
no, it's well
that
worth
sounds
it.
Great.
We did have a
Sega Rally 2 Plus and a bit.
Now, I will say, for that £50 session, I'm not sure. I don't think you get actually instruction, but you'll meet all the guys that are there, and I'm sure they'll give you tips. I think you have to pay a bit more for a proper session. I think they're doing it for £110 on the Black Friday deal, which gave you, I think it was an hour session, I think it was thereabouts, which is still a bargain, because you do get proper one-to-one instruction and all the kind of things with that. So it's definitely worth it. But yeah, no, we had a competition last week on the show.
Oh, for the tile.
For the tile. Nobody took part. And yet we've got hundreds of listeners, but nobody sent me an email, or we did have 1 or 2 new subscribers.
Scared.
They must be too scared. I was going to say you could win the one.
I'd find them for getting the tile I wanted.
Well, I was going to give away the one of Bernie and Putin. Oh, that'd be a good one to give away.
That'd be quite small, though, wouldn't it? Can you imagine? Do it full size, and then it'd be 6 or 8 inches.
But no, you've got it's the kind
Only
of thing,
joking, Mr. Putin. Don't kill me.
you've got the kind of thing behind me here, as you see, the
Yes.
kind of size of what it is. But yeah, so no, that's been really good. Well, what we'll do is stay on the line because we'll end the broadcast. But you've been listening to the Car Sim and Race Driver Show, and we'll be back again next week with a new topic and definitely motorsport related. But remember, you can visit our website, which is at cardealadvisor.co.uk if you need to rent a car anywhere in over 53,000 locations. Hit the rental link and you'll be able to see it from there and get a fantastic deal. You can support us. We have on our Cardio Advisor website as well. You can support us for just £2 a month. And at the moment, we don't have any other merchandise. That is pretty much about it, I think. But it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show, Andrew.
Thank
and for all our viewers and listeners, we are getting Super GT. That's right, Steve Alvarez Brown will hopefully be maybe even before Christmas and on interview on our YouTube Live and on the podcast as well. But take care and remember our motto: drive fast and try not to crash.